I'd like to introduce myself as a 16-year-old music producer and DJ known as Vaid that comes from my last name, Vaid. People often don't seem to understand the difference between the two, and so I'd like to touch upon that a little bit. A DJ does not make music, a producer does that, using softwares, digital audio workstations, creating compositions, melodies, and ultimately entire songs is what a producer does. A DJ will then take those already created songs and play them in front of a live audience in the form of a seamless mix. I'm sorry, guys, I had to do this, but this is how I really feel when people don't understand the difference. Anyways, music has not really been a part of my household or family culture, except for my grandmother's love for singing. My mother always believed in exposing me to different extracurricular activities that prompted me to start learning the keyboard from an early age, followed by the drums later on. I would sit, practice the keyboard, trying to cover different Bollywood songs, and also discovering new melodies in the process. Electronic dance music, more commonly known as EDM, only struck me recently. It was in 2013 that I heard the song Animals by Martin Garrix, and I got really inspired by it. I got hooked onto electronic music since then. I would sit for hours trying to discover more such music, more artists, as a fan and enthusiast, not really thinking about how I would ever want to pursue it. One day, I was watching my favorite artist perform at the world's biggest dance music festival, Tomorrowland. I felt ecstatic just by looking at the environment and started discovering my part to do the same. Knowing yourself is the beginning of every journey to self realization, and at that point, I was really able to understand what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be. Since I started learning how to DJ in 2015 and then produce music in 2016, I've been able to cover a few of the several steps that will lead me to my goal. I've gone from playing for four people at clubs, to fests with a lot of people. I've ghost produced songs for other DJs. Now, ghost production is basically when you make a song for another artist in exchange of some money, and then the client artist will release or present the song to people under their own name. Some of these songs that I've ghost produced have been played on the Indian radio and even gone forward to get signed to one of the biggest international dance labels out there. I like to ghost produce since it gives me a sense of freedom I think every artist deserves, and it also helps me experiment with different genres and styles. Money has never really been an incentive for me. I would only want it to further invest into production software or equipment. I still remember being neglected upon asking for my first earnings over and over again, but I think that's just a part of the process. Unless you stand up and rightfully demand what's yours, people will keep taking advantage of you. And people did that to me until my dad rose to the occasion and stood up for what I deserved. But I do not regret any of these incidents, since they've all helped me. In fact, my dad tells me to make as many mistakes as I can right now so that I'm well prepared for the future. So after a lot of these rough ideas, unfinished tracks, and demos, I finally came up with an idea in 2017 Jan that intrigued my entire team and we all found potential in. Whenever I make something, the first person to hear it is my brother. So I went up to him, and I was like, what do you think about this? So while he was watching TV with his laptop open, playing a game on his iPad, he was like, this sounds good, you should work on it. So I did. And after working on the track for another month, I'd finished Throne as a collaboration with the American singer-songwriter Nino Lucarelli. Nino is really talented and has also been supported by artists such as Hardwell, Chainsmokers, and Nicky Romero. It was fun working with him, but also challenging at the same time, since we were working through a time difference of 12 and a half hours. When I would be working, he was asleep, and of course, when he was working, it was way past my bedtime. It's funny how we had not even verbally communicated until the song was over. But anyways, this song, Throne, it has really been a journey for me. It has helped me carve a niche for myself in the dance music fraternity through opportunities such as one that came at the Amsterdam Dance Event Global Sessions 2017. Over this two-day event, attendees such as myself can get personalized feedback from much more experienced artists and labels. So I went, and I was really enthusiastic about this entire idea. So I went and started making people hear this latest fire that I just cooked up. One of the people that heard the track really liked it and flagged it. Now, I didn't really understand much of what was going on, but later on, I figured that there's a special panel at the end of the two-day event where they would shortlist, I think, around 10 to 12 from the hundreds of demos that were pitched, and one such turned out to be mine. I cannot recall much of what happened after that, since I was a little frozen in the moment, and there's no better way to show you all. Just before that, This is me in 2016 when I attended the Amsterdam Dance Event with very little knowledge and experience. And this is in
Thanks. Mark,
Just before, Kashi, sorry, just before we get started, I wanted to tell everybody that Yasha is 15 years old. Yeah? Can we make some noise for that?
so Mark, what are your thoughts?
We're amazing for 15, so well done.
Thank you.
It's very current.
It's really good. Like, I mean, this is well beyond your years, for sure.
Thank you so much. It was such a great track. I really liked it.
Heard about you from someone. I think the track is brilliant.
So, are we gonna rate this? One is pretty bad, 10 is ultimo. Tell me.
I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say 10. I mean, I'm really impressed, and I think that you should be really proud of yourself. And it's really exciting to think the career that you have in front of you.
So this event brought about multiple new opportunities, offer, and exposure. Now, had I been afraid of going up to people and talking to them, I would have missed out on this amazing opportunity. Sometimes you need to overcome your fears in order to achieve bigger things. A few days after the event, I came across the CEO of Universal Music Southeast Asia region, who's also the founder of the massive Enchanted Valley Carnival. I had always known him and known that he was a respectful and influential person in the industry, but I had no clue that I would meet him at the school I studied. So I went up to him, I introduced myself, I got his email ID, I mailed the song to him, and 2 days later, I was offered a Universal Music deal. Now, for those of you who don't know, Universal Music, thank you. For those of you, Universal Music is by far the biggest label of the world. Almost 30% of the music that you listen to is owned by them. Now, I didn't end up taking up the offer, and I still wonder what would have happened if I did, and sometimes do regret it as well. But you know, they say whatever happens for the best, and I hope that's true. So there was a point where everyone really liked Throne and responded with positivity, but no one wanted to sign it. To my surprise, I even got an email from the massive Spinnin Records asking me to keep them updated with all my future productions. Even though that email was not of acceptance for Throne, it's something I treasure till date. When I was making the song in my bedroom, I had no clue that it would reach the ears of Alan Walker's team. Alan Walker's team too got back with really positive feedback, and that was a huge thing for me. I think rejections are an important part of the process, since they teach you and make you understand that what you want is really worth fighting for. But anyways, coming back to the song, I realized that the song had been lying in my hard drive for the past 8 months, and I didn't want to postpone the release till 2018. So I decided on independently releasing it on YouTube, right when Deorro's label Panda Funk showed interest in signing it. Now, when the offer came, the first thing they asked for was my social handles. This made my team think that they wouldn't sign the track because I had a following of exactly, 0. And this incident really disheartened me because people who I had trusted since the beginning, they wanted me to add a bigger artist to the track and just give away 50% of the credits. I thought if I wanted to be unique and if I wanted to work towards a place, towards the 1%, then sometimes I would have to take a risk as well. So I did, and it turned out that the label didn't care about the following I had and wanted to release it because of their love for the song. This incident taught me another thing. An artist who's trying to make their own career is less likely to make yours, but a person whose career is to make your career is more likely to do so. The song came out as my debut release last month, and has since then been featured on magazines such as V Review and also gained the popular support of international and Indian acts. In fact, the song is being played on one of the main dance Italian radio networks with over 2 million listeners per day as we speak. It took me 1.5 years to release something under my own name, but I think it was worth the wait. DJ producer Henry Fong says that wait for the right time to launch your music career. Wait until the music is sounding good and until you have your branding on point. I also think it's very important to believe in what you do. If it wasn't for my belief in the song, I would have probably given up on it a long time ago, and it would be just another song out there. Looking at the numbers, it might not be a huge song, but for me, what made it a personal success for me that I was able to accomplish my objectives. personal objectives such as being appreciated by my family, friends, personal objectives such as gaining my debut release on an international label, and objectives such as, just regaining my lost confidence. Now, I'm not really here to inspire anyone since I don't think I've achieved enough to do so yet. I just wanted to share my story, my journey, in fact, just the beginning of my journey, and convey that you never know what's in store for you unless you go out there and do it. For 2018, my only plan is to keep working on more music, keep playing more live shows, and shape myself, not just as an artist, but as a person. I also have an edit here. Today morning, my mom asked me to add it. I also need to focus on my studies a little bit, but we'll see how that goes. So the first step you take towards things can lead you to discovering paths which can bring a glow to your life, glow or positivity to your life. And I think this is what Everglow means to me. I've been very lucky to discover this glow at such an early stage in my life, and I hope the same for everyone. They say that when your passion becomes your profession, no day seems like work. Perhaps music is something that is known and liked by all, and therefore no one should be stopped from pursuing music. Without musicians, there would be no music. I've never really openly said this to anyone, but the truth is that I can't imagine myself 10 years from now sitting behind a desk and doing the same old 9 to 5 shifts. That's just not me, and that would definitely not make me feel the happiest. I want to meet new people every day and make new friends and just discover the power of music. Every time I sit down to make music, I can imagine myself standing on some stage in some part of the world someday, playing one of my tunes and crying happy tears while thousands of people dance to it like there's no tomorrow. Thank you guys so much.